Cross Atlantic Gaming is on YouTube. Go give us a sub on YouTube and see what beautiful clips, trips, and anything in between that we come up with. Weekly content is always posted. That's a chocolate guarantee, that is.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 91 of Cross Atlantic Gaming. I'm your host Risky the Kid, and joining me this week, as always, is my co-host Moose.
What's up, buddy?
Not much. And in our rotating third chair this week, someone that some of you may have heard of if you were around back in the Risky Radio days, former co-host of that podcast and dear friend, Mr. WaterLou.
Hello, everybody. It's me. Did you miss me? I know I didn't. I mean, did. You know, Russian's very confusing.
Oh, it's an oldie but a goodie, isn't it?
Oh, what's going on, WaterLou? How you doing?
Yeah, you know, just being alive, playing video games, stuff like that. You know, the usual.
You can't ask for much more than being alive and playing video games.
I know, you know, and if you did ask for much more, then you'd just be greedy.
That's true. Don't want to be greedy.
Since Risky Radio went off, about 2 years ago, not much is different?
Doesn't sound like anything has changed.
No, I mean, my beard comes in a little fuller now.
Attaboy.
On some of the patchy spots.
Becoming more of a man every day, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it, you know. I think my Russian accent's getting a little better.
Or it's getting rusty. You haven't used it over the airwaves in a while.
It's true. I mean, I talked to some customers that way, so.
You're supposed to do that?
I don't know.
If they're Russian?
Oh, it's okay.
Okay. You fit right in with them.
Yeah, make them feel like they're at home.
Good. Well, good to have you on a podcast once again.
Good to be here.
It's been forever. All right, we don't really have much to take care of before we get right into it. So, another week in gaming. What have we all been getting into? Moose, I will start with you. You're diving back into the Division 2, checking out some of the old DLC. Are you trying to get ready for Warlords of New York?
I'm not sure. You know, I guess I'm looking into it to see if it's worth another $30 to play Warlords. And, you know, the level design on all these levels is so good. I can't remember what the first level I played was. It's like Oak Hill Camp or something like that. It's basically like a mockery of Camp David. And so you're running through the woods, hiding behind giant logs, and there's just enemies galore. And then there's a big boss fight at the end. And then the best DLC portion that I played was the new stuff, the Coney Island. So you start out, there's a safe house there, and then there's a side mission where you've got to go rescue the doctor that may have the cure for the dollar flu. And he is trapped in it almost looks like a pod, like one of those moving pods. Yeah. In the middle of the baseball diamond, like the middle of the infield for the minor league baseball team on Coney Island. And so you start out going down through the basement and you fight all through the corridors down there, and you come up onto the field and have to fight through, you know, they have barricades and trash, and then they have helicopters dropping off or waves of enemies as well. So it's very involved, and just, you know, fighting at a baseball stadium is pretty cool.
I was going to say, so you're doing all of that inside of the stadium?
Right.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that was just the side mission. So then when you get done with that, the main mission is to go take out the boss that kidnapped that doctor, and they're hanging out in the amusement park. So you have to go through like the main boardwalk area with all the games and stuff, and then you go through kind of like the roller coaster area, and then it kind of culminates at a haunted house. And it's one of those, you know, moving rides where you ride on the cars, but you have to walk on the tracks, and there's just guides everywhere. There's themes popping out at you. There's eerie music. It's just really cool.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to Coney Island?
Yes, I went once when I went out to New York a few years ago.
Was it one of those weird things where it's like, this feels kind of familiar?
Yeah, but I went literally like the summer after the hurricane came, so it was in kind of rough shape. We went to Nathan's and
got yourself a hot dog.
Yeah, we rode on the Wonder Wheel, which I would not recommend to anybody. because that thing is scary and dangerous, even though it's just a Ferris wheel.
You're just afraid it's going to tip over and roll into the ocean.
It just doesn't feel safe at all. Because you know those chairs like rock back and forth. They go on that little track, so they kind of like slide around on the wheel.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's terrifying.
Right.
I don't think I ever went on that, and I don't think I ever would.
No.
Yeah.
Roller coasters are fun, but Ferris wheels, a whole different story.
Yeah, I think the roller coaster was still in the ocean at that point, so they weren't taking riders that day. But yeah, it was cool just seeing Coney Island and the carnival, and like I said, the level design in those games is so awesome. It's worth a playthrough just once, even if you do it that way. And they have everything in a story mode, so it doesn't make it too difficult. It basically plays to whatever level you are. I had no problem melting the yellow bar guys playing it through on story mode, and matchmaking still works great because I matchmade, and usually before I was halfway through either level, I had at least 2 people on my squad with me.
That's awesome. Has anything changed systems wise, I guess? Or is it,
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah?
But I don't have any idea because I didn't mess with a ton of that. I just basically put whatever the highest gear score was, or whatever highest green loot I had that would give me the boost. If you add so many items of green loot that you get bonuses. I forget what they call it.
Yeah, like the sets or whatever.
Yes.
Bonuses with the sets, yeah.
Yeah, the set bonuses. So if I had, and it seemed like the loot was dropping at a pretty high rate. Like I got probably 7 or 8 green drops on each one of those levels, which I wasn't getting any green drops before. It seemed like I got a few green pieces before I started these. So
yeah, they want to get you pumped up to play, to give you that loot so you're ready to play at the new DLC.
Yeah, and also, heads up everybody out there, this is the game that's $3 right now, so any platform you don't have it on,
that's
go ahead
so
and get
funny.
it.
I was like, where don't I have it? $3?
Yeah, I think
Who doesn't have it out of my friends? I will buy you one, and you can have one.
Right?
You can have one.
Yeah, I think I need to pick it up on Steam just so I can practice clicking the heads.
Yeah, if I don't have an extra copy, which I should check, because I was like, well, I picked it up on, I think it's on Epic right now. So I was like, I picked it up on Epic for $3, and then Ladonian sent me a message. He's like, I'm pretty sure that it came with your graphics card that you bought when you built your computer. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I have a free copy somewhere and a copy that I just bought. So if I have that, I'll send it your way.
Some of those time codes are sensitive, though, because I know I found an EA access code from like a year and a half ago, and it's no longer valid. And then my brother-in-law found an original from like, my nephew got his Xbox, I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he found the Xbox Live code, and it doesn't work anymore either.
Huh.
So
bummer. I wonder if you like just ask Microsoft, hey, I have this expired one. They'd give you like another one
Just
free
do
for
something
6 months.
for you.
Yeah, that'd be
Could
nice.
be.
But yeah, I wish they had a battle royale for Division. Just that game's so fun, but it would be fun to have a multiplayer like that. But they'll never do anything.
dude, the
That's
Dark
what's
Zone is pretty ruthless.
Yeah, I heard, but I think it's a little like you get confused with the NPCs there and the live players.
Having it be like PvE.
Yeah.
PvEVP. However you wanna say it.
PvE. There you go.
Yeah. But I mean, I like games that do that too, where they have like the realistic world in there, like places you've been. I wish more games did that too. That would be really, like, oh, you would want to play it just because you're like, oh, I've been there. Let's see how accurate it is.
Well, that was like when the Division 1 came out, wasn't that shortly after you had just moved back from New York City?
Yeah. It was
like a couple years after, or whatever. Like that was probably pretty awesome getting to see some of that stuff, like how well it's actually done in that game.
Oh yeah, and like I was like, I always wanted to do this in real life, just like run down the streets in New York and shoot a gun, but I can't do it in real life, but
Wow.
I can do it in the game.
Yeah, that'll get you some jail time. Ask Plex.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it.
Good,
Well,
good.
you know what I'm saying. Like I don't
Yeah.
actually want to go do that, but like it would be of paintball maybe.
But yeah, I think in Division 2, they took the level design to a 10. from what they did in 1, because first of all the different landmarks they have in DC, and they just nail every single one of them. Plus they add it, if it's been overgrown for 3 or 4 years and nobody's been maintaining anything, and it just has that
Plant life
shabby, unkept look, and I don't know, it's just
that was
awesome.
The biggest thing between the two games is like the first one is like, oh man, this feels like it just happened and everything's really bad right now, and then as soon as you hop into Division 2, it's like, how many years since that first game? Like, everything is overgrown. And that was the one thing, is like, there was one of the 3, I think there was 3 Dark Zones in the Division 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
One of them was super overgrown, like, compared to the other ones. And it was just like, this seems like it's been here for like 30 years.
Was that the one that's an island?
It might have been. I haven't played them since forever ago.
Yeah, since the launch, basically.
But I remember when the first one came out and the Dark Zone was finally a thing. It was the first time, one of the first times in console that you had that type of like risk reward kind of game,
and having to extract and fight off enemies while you're waiting for your loot to get taken out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you're seeing that a lot in like Vigor and Tarkov now, like kind of similar. But that was like the first time experiencing that, and it was crazy back then.
Thrilling.
But then I didn't really touch the Dark Zone that much in Division 2.
No. I don't touch any of them because I just get really mad when I get lots of good loot and then somebody comes and kills me and takes it all.
Yep.
That's true. That's why you got to kill them first.
That's why you
I'm
need
not
a squad.
that good. I'm fun, remember?
Need to get Dan Pod in there.
Yeah.
Dan Pod and Shopa just to charge out in front and kill everything.
That's right.
It'll be fine.
Have my team of goons out there with me.
Escort the president. You can just be the president. We'll give you a pistol, sit in the back, and just march forward.
That's what we need to do in PUBG, because I sit and watch a lot.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to. We'll get there.
I know.
Cool though. So do you think you're kind of on the fence for Warlords just because of the $30?
Well, no, I don't
about
think
putting more into it.
If there's plenty of content, if it's 30 hours for $30, that seems fair, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, $1 an hour.
So, and if my long lost friend Ben ever finds his Xbox when he moves back into his house, that might be a determining factor as well. So
he's usually him on there yesterday, I think.
He's usually my division playing buddy. So let me know, Ben.
That game's definitely better squatted up, for sure.
No doubt.
Especially if you're gonna do things like the Dark Zone. You want to go in there solo.
No,
there's no rules.
No, just mean people.
Yep.
Yeah, but
pretty much
that's
anybody
everywhere in games, though.
Nah, there's something about the Dark Zone though that like
it does bring out the worst in people.
It turns you into a terrible person. Like eventually, if you spend too much time in there, you eventually just go infected or whatever they call it, and you just start killing people and taking their stuff, and you become that person.
So don't stay in the Dark Zone too long, folks. It'll get
You're
you
bound to go rogue.
Just like the Stir Wars.
Boom. Exactly. Nailed it. All right, you good with Division 2 then?
Yep.
All right, next let's move over to WaterLou. You playing some Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire.
I am. Turn-based, go figure. Super fun. You have 2 ways you can play. You can play it turn-based or like a live action,
like ARPG style, like action. That's cool.
But you can still like pause it in that, like switch to each character. It was more like if you guys ever played Knights of the Old Republic, how you had your people, your main character, which you were on, and you could pause the combat in the middle of battle to like pick your moves you want and then
target
switch
a
to
different
another
person or move somebody here.
Yep. Kind of thing. You can play it that way if you want, or turn-based. I'm doing the turn-based right now, and it reminds me more of Divinity. But the fun thing is, if you played the original way, the tactical way, the builds don't transfer over to turn-based the same, so you have to play a whole new kind of strategy doing it the turn-based. So it's like I bought 2 games in one, which is pretty cool.
Right. Have you only played it turn-based?
Yeah, because I was like, I was watching a bunch of videos on like the best way to build your person. So I created one, and I was like, this is just not working out for me. Then I realized it was for the tactical version. And but I mean that part was taking some time to get used to. But the story is just really, really good. You actually want to talk to everybody. You want to hear what they have to say. What's that?
Does this go into turn-based just when get into combat then?
Yeah, it's like you free roam around, but when you get into like a battle, it will turn into turn-based, and then you have to kind of like finish that battle, and then you get out of it, then you can walk around normally. So like, was it Mutant?
I would say, does it remind you of Mutant Year Zero? Because that's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's just like that, but more fantasy. You build a pretty big squad. As of right now, I have 5 people, including myself. I think you can get up to 6. But and then with each class, you can, like, it's a lot more in depth if you ever played the first one. Before, you would only have like one class, one role. Now you can multi-class, so it's even more of an RPG that way. So you really got to think of how you spend your points and how you want to interact, how you want to build each teammate, so you can just really do maximum damage. I don't know. It's a blast. As far as that,
is there permadeath in it at all?
No,
like XCOM, stuff like that. No.
Okay. If your character dies, he just faints in the middle of battle, and then once the battle's over with, he gets back up. So,
okay,
that's kind of bummer, but I mean, it's very forgiving that way. So that's nice.
I would say that kind of makes it so you can play on more difficult levels and not have the threat of losing a character forever, just looming all the time.
Yeah, and then the interactions between the characters is like Mass Effect. You can build more of a relationship with certain people. Your actions will affect other people. Like, in this one build I'm like a rogue ranger, so I'm kind of mean, but I'm also like nice. I like fixed this dude's carriage, but when he wasn't looking, I stole all his gold, and then he rewarded me for fixing his carriage too. So I got double the works. And then once I got into town, one of my partners was like, "Hey, I don't know if I agree with what you're doing with people here, you know." And the other person was like, "Hey, you know, next time you want to steal something, let me know. We can steal even more." So it's cool how like your interactions will affect everybody else.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The main story of it is you were revived for some reason to track down another god, because he's just kind of like almost reigning terror on from what you had left behind and from Divinity 1. Pillars 1, which is cool.
So do you find the two games pretty similar then, Divinity and Pillars?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You see a lot of common ground between them. Divinity, I think, is a little bit more turn-based and tactical than Pillars, because it originally was more of a live action. So that's the biggest difference between them. Like, in Divinity, you really have to pay attention to like your ground and your what's around you, because your surroundings also affect you. I don't see that as much in the Pillars. Like if it's raining or if there's oil spill on the ground, that doesn't affect my play as much as it did in Divinity 2. So that's a big difference there. The same thing with the story. They're both really in depth, really nice. It's just it's something different that I like playing, because you know, you play so many first-person shooters, hero shooters, battle royales. Yeah. Well, they're very tactical, but you know, you have to be on the edge of your seats. This is something that I can like. It's like reading a book, and then I know reading, but it's like reading a book with just like a little bit of a break in between, where you can kind of play almost like a game of chess to keep your mind on like sharp, but then kind of relax all at the same time while listening to a very good story.
There's a big difference between having to use your brain in a first-person shooter to play tactically and having to think where you're going to move a person and what attack you're going to use in a game like Pillars.
Yeah, I mean, people think it's that not too crazy, like technical, but you could turn around in one rotation of a thing, lose all your people because you moved them in the wrong spot or didn't put something up to protect yourself. So it can like change really quick. And I know a lot of people think like turn-based is very slow and methodical, which yes, it is, but you can screw yourself over pretty quick.
Yeah, and that the threat of that is exciting.
Yeah,
it's kind of what.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is just the story. If you like a good fantasy, this is just perfect for you.
Did you play Pillars 1?
I started it because it was on Game Pass for free. I played a good amount of it, but never really drew me in because I knew 2 was right around the corner. So
yeah, I mean that makes sense. Where are you? Are you playing on Xbox?
Yeah. That's the other thing. I wish it was Switch for Pillars, but
Is it not even on Switch?
I don't believe so.
Oh, my bad.
I think Pillars 1 is. I don't think 2 is on there yet.
Is 2 on Game Pass though? Is that where you're playing it? Yeah.
No, I bought 2.
Okay.
One's on
just
Game
one's
Pass.
on Game Pass. Gotcha.
Yeah. It would be so much easier with a mouse and key though, just to get through everything because there's so many menus. I mean, they did a pretty good translation from the keyboard to a controller. You know, there's hot buttons and everything like that, but it still would just be a lot simpler to like point and click because running around. I mean, you can do the point and click with your controller, but it's nowhere near as nice as that mouse. So usually I do free run with my characters, but the AI sometimes when they're controlling your characters, they get in front of you and you can't like tap on the right thing to acknowledge that it's there. Like I kept trying to open this dead body that was on the ground and I kept just talking to my pet bear and it's just like, no, I don't want to do that, which was very frustrating. So I would have to like walk my whole team away, go solo over to the dead body, loot it, and then walk back over to my team.
Yeah, that sounds like it's just needs some creature comforts or a cursor or something that you could use on screen.
Mm-hmm. And then you like I said, every little thing affects kind of like the battle because you can also arrange your formation of your crew. So when you're running, you can have them like all in a straight line or kind of however you want. You don't want to have all your magician people up in front, then have your attackers in back. So you also have to, strategize your crew when you're walking around, which is another whole thing you got to think of too.
I think they prefer to be called mages, not magicians.
Magicians, wizards,
they're all the same
witches.
thing.
Witch people.
They all shoot fireballs out of their hands.
Witchcraftery,
or staffs or wands.
Can you set them to be like as default to be at the back or be at the front?
Yeah. So you can have basically it's a menu setting where you can control and put them exactly where you want them. It's like it's a big grid space that they give you. It's like a
grid base.
I think a 6x6 space where you can arrange your characters in that, and then they'll walk around you from the way that you put them.
That's cool. So then when you run into combat, they'll be sitting the way that you wanted them to be.
Exactly. Like I have all the mages and the paladin in the back. She'll heal and he'll throw fireballs, and then I have the ranger in the middle, and then my 2 attackers, on my right and left flank, so they can go in really quick.
Right.
Is this considered like an auto chess game?
Auto chess?
Auto chess is a lot different. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Yeah, because auto chess is you have like a more of a chessboard, and you have certain characters that you put out at a time or something. I don't play auto chess. I tried on my phone. It didn't work too well.
Fair enough. All right. So you're digging Pillars then?
Definitely enjoying it. It tore me away from Wastelands too. So that's pretty good.
Nice, dude. I like it. All right. Something we've all been playing. Well, not been playing. We all took some time out of our Sunday morning and tried out Bleeding Edge. This is the new hero slasher game from Ninja Theory. They're the people that made Senua's Sacrifice. So this is kind of a weird, different direction. They're obviously working on Senua's Sacrifice 2, but this is their competition for Overwatch, I guess, and Paladins is what it seems like they're going for. But it's definitely more melee focused. The beta was going on this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So by the time you're listening to this, it's over. Mm-hmm. But
there's another one coming in March, and then the game is released at the end of March, right?
Is it going to be a free release?
I think it's open beta next time. Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass. So.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing is that all these studios that Microsoft picks up, we just get their games for free in Game Pass. So, opening thoughts for Bleeding Edge. Is this something you guys think could ever compete, or does it not need to compete with Overwatch and games like that? I just kind of feel like the crowd for this type of hero-based game, they're probably playing Overwatch, the majority of them at least. Are they going to be able to hold enough people here for this to be a solely multiplayer game? Like, is this game going to succeed?
I think it's like completely different than Overwatch.
Different enough?
Yeah, okay. You're not shooting. Like, you don't have to, like, your targets are acquired automatically. You know what I mean? You don't have to zoom in on anybody. You can literally just click the left thumbstick and it'll auto target one person, and you can use your right thumbstick to switch between targets. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like this seems a lot less.
It's more
hand-eye
strategy.
coordination.
Yeah, exactly.
It's way more your abilities and watching your cooldowns and knowing when to hit your skills.
And working as a team is key.
Oh yeah, definitely. Moose, you were saying it's kind of, people were talking like a League of Legends almost with with that aspect. I could see that with the whole like not needing to have aim and moving your timing your cooldowns, but the plot of it, the base plot of it makes me think Overwatch or Paladins.
It looks and feels like Overwatch or Paladins, but as far as the strategy goes and your gameplay goes, it's more along the lines of one of those hero. I don't know what they call them. Your Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends, those type of games.
MOBAs.
MOBA, there you go.
Or Marvel Future War. Super War.
If we're getting obscure.
If you're getting weird, games no one's played, yeah.
It was fun.
So what we all kind of dabbled in different characters. I dabbled in the samurai guy whose name I don't remember. And
names.
Names, yeah. There's enough other heroes that I have to remember in other games.
I mean, as soon as you look at him, you'll know exactly who the samurai guy is.
Right.
Yeah, he's got like a gas mask that it looks like he put in his mouth, and now like the two filter parts are sticking out of his mouth for some reason. He's a weird looking dude.
He's just the coronavirus ninja.
Yeah, that's who he is. But he had like a dash, he had an ult that everybody in a circle around him would just get sliced up. He had invisibility, so he could go and get out of situations. He was definitely more of a character where you get in, strike a bunch of times, because I think he has a 4-hit combo, so I'm just spamming X 4 times, and it's like light, 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 heavy, and it just does it that way. So it was a pretty, I want to say, simplistic style. They give you recommended characters before you load into the game, so like these are recommended for your first couple games because they're the easiest ones, and there's definitely more complicated ones, obviously, but he was super easy to learn. One of the modes, which is kind of cool that we played, is it's some type of like orb collection or something like that. I think we're collecting
cell
orbs.
collector.
Collection.
Yeah.
So all these different cells pop up on the map, and you have to go collect them, and then eventually these little banks that you can deposit them into open up. And we had one match this morning though where I just went off by myself collecting all the cells because the other team like wasn't playing the objective.
Right.
And so I was literally just going collecting all these things, depositing them, and we beat these kids like 50-7. Like it wasn't close.
Because I was playing as the healer. He's like a kid in a go-kart. I first thought he was a kid in a wheelchair because they were trying to cover all the bases, but his legs definitely move against pedals. So. It
reminded me of like just a floating comforter. Or not comforter, recliner.
Yeah. I don't know. It's exactly. He was just laying down, but
but he was a healer
on pedals. Yeah, he'd do healing, and then he had a little bot that he'd put out that would do damage for him. And then he had I can't remember what his other thing was. He had like a jump, so he could jump out of the way like the enemies, so he could
like
jump
an
super
evade
high.
Dash,
yeah, exactly. You just double tap A, and he would jump way higher. Like he could jump up onto second levels and stuff. So
that's cool.
I don't know. It's hard. We played one good round, and other than that, we got destroyed. And it was frustrating.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest thing in this game, which is kind of like with all those types of games, is that if you ever get soloed out by yourself,
oh yeah, you're done.
You're going to get murdered. And that's like the best thing to do is just pick off stragglers that are kind of away from the group of 4. So it is 4v4. And if one person's not there, go kill them quick because they're going to go down super fast.
And kill their healers fairly quick because it doesn't seem like there's very many healing orbs on the map. And then there's like a 30 or 45 second countdown when you run through it. So
yeah. Lou, who did you play?
I played, we'll go with Big Bertha. I can't really remember really her name, but
I think that's close.
She was a large lady that rode a unicycle and then had 2 chain wheels on her right and left hand. She's like a she's like a road hog. she had like a grapple. I could bring people into me. Heavy damage attack with my X button. Y, I did like I like spilled oil all around me that did damage to everybody. And then I think it was B. I like take those two tires that I'm holding in my hands and I use them like poi balls, I think they're called, and I spin them around myself and like cut everybody up near me. And then my ultimate is I just do a big burnout with my big ass tire that I'm riding on in circles, and then everybody gets knocked down.
Yeah, so all the supers kind of seem like, well, they felt like just AoE, just damage.
Yeah, because mine was an AoE buff. I would set mine off, and everybody would have extra armor that was near me.
Right, and I think like we've been comparing them to Overwatch characters. My guy, I think, was kind of like Genji, if I remember right, because I also had like shurikens.
Yep.
Except for they slowed people down and did damage over time. So like if somebody's trying to run away, I could shuriken them as they're running away, just so you could catch up to them. Because that was one thing, is when people are trying to run away, you're not going to catch them unless you're using like a boost to get there faster.
That one lady with the bird legs, she ran twice as fast or three times as fast as everybody on the map.
Yeah,
the lady chocobo.
That's what she was, a lady chocobo.
No, 100%. I'm not disagreeing.
Take the bottom half of a chocobo and put a lady on it. Yeah.
And I guess if we were comparing my character, he would be what, Lucio?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Because he does healing and he does damage, but mainly he's a healer.
Mm-hmm. He had those little. He kind of looked like him. He was on a DJ Roomba like bed thing.
Yeah, on a Roomba. Exactly. That's what he looked like. That's what we should call him. It's like his DJ Roomba.
And then we were also playing with Shopa, who I think he was a little old lady with a hot air balloon above her.
Yeah. And she had like bird legs of some sort too, didn't she? It was definitely a weird looking character.
If you just scroll through the character selection, it's some of the weirdest looking character design I've ever seen. Like all of them are super different from each other. Like, and they're pretty weird.
Oh yeah. There's only 9 or 12 characters that they're starting with. Something like that.
I think that's what it looked like. And I don't know if we had. I wonder if they had all the characters in the beta that'll be there at release.
No, I doubt it. I think they'll have some more.
But
I played another healer and it was very difficult.
It would make a lot more sense for a roadmap for him, though, to release these 9 or 12 characters and then trickle the rest of them out over the next year or two.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hope it does well. I just don't know. I don't know. Hero shooters have never really been for me, or the hero genre in general. Even when they implemented that into like Call of Duty, where you could pick different heroes with different abilities, it's never really just been my kind of thing. So this game was kind of like for me. But I think if you take the time to learn each character, and that's what a lot of people do, they'll have like a few different mains that they're good at in each style, like support, DPS, tanks. You're going to find one that you like, and you're probably going to stick to them. And I think once you do that in this game, and you kind of learn some synergies between different characters and classes, that it'll probably go a lot smoother than it went for us. But we had a squad of 4 on comms, and there was a few games where we just got, most of our games, we just got tanked. Like, we got wrecked. So
I think it was just prepared to play.
Right. And obviously, if you put more time into it, but it's free in Game Pass when it comes out. So I'm sure we'll give it another shot down the road.
Oh, yeah. Somebody will convince me to play it, I'm sure.
Hey, let's play Bleeding Edge. Oh, okay.
Oh, fine.
Is that what we're doing tonight to be friends? Damn it. Okay.
Anything for human interaction.
That's right. Human male interaction on my,
Enough estrogen in your house.
Oh, well, not yet, but there will be soon, I'm sure.
Well, so we played Bleeding Edge, and that kind of led us into playing Overwatch. So the 4 of us, we kind of just stuck in a party, played some Overwatch, played some Paladins.
Yep.
Overwatch, I haven't been in there forever. Because now when you're loading into matches, this isn't news to anyone that plays Overwatch. Right. But you select if you want to be a healer, DPS, or the tank, or support, whatever they call it. And then it'll load you with other people that want to play the things that you're not playing. So if you don't pick support as one of the things you want to play, it'll load you in with people that obviously have selected support as a type that they want to play. But then you kind of get stuck into that one segment. So there'd be like whole games where it's, well, now I have to be a healer. So that kind of
Right. Yeah,
rubbed me the wrong way.
I would check all the boxes and end up with a support character every time.
Yeah.
It just seemed like nobody wanted to play support.
Right.
So if you didn't just check like the one box of the thing you wanted to do, you're like, I did support or healer and like DPS, and I didn't get DPS once. Like I played healers the whole entire time that we played.
Right.
Because it's just going to make you play wherever other people don't want to play. But the funny thing is, when you're selecting that, it like incentivizes you to pick like the tank. It's like, hey, you can get 20% XP, or you can get coins, or whatever.
Box for playing this type.
Right, and it just seemed like it was the one that nobody wanted to play. So, so you got some bonus XP, Moose. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't mind support. I'm not saying I'm terribly good at it, but and also there's probably about 15 new characters in the game that since the last time that we played, right? Yeah. Because I played as a hamster and a little ball that rolls around the map, so that was pretty fun.
The one new character I got to play that I enjoyed a lot, I used to play Mercy a lot just because, I don't know, because nobody ever wanted to be healer, so I did that. But Lou told me to try out Baptiste, right?
Yeah, Baptiste.
So he's cool because he heals, and he has like a couple different ways to do it, but then he also actually has a gun that does decent damage to people to actually, so you don't feel just helpless. Like with Mercy, I'm literally just holding down my stupid healing or buffing
with a
thing.
Stick. It's fun
exactly.
stuff.
So it was nice to play somebody who I felt like I could do more than just heal, even if the first game I didn't even use the left trigger.
Yeah, that was funny.
you fire like healing bombs at your teammates, and I didn't even realize that was there, so I was just using it was like left bumper or something where it just puts a little ring around me, and then if anyone's near me, they heal. But no, it turns out I can actually shoot healing grenades at my teammates.
I was just about to say, don't tell Chocolate, but Risky didn't know where the grenade button was.
Yeah, dude, and it's like a 15 or 20 second cooldown too for your left bumper that you were using for heals.
Yeah, so one would say I was not a great healer that first game at all.
Dude, I think you're safe though, because he doesn't even listen to the episodes he's on. So
true. Phew. Nobody tell Chocolate. Please stay out of Discord, everyone.
Right.
Yeah, so Overwatch was fun. I can't play it for super long. I get frustrated once we start to get steamrolled, and I feel like the people that are playing Overwatch right now are the people that are just really good at Overwatch.
Yeah, we had one round that I felt like lasted 45 seconds, and all we could do was just keep dying.
Yep.
We had to sit on that pad, and when I looked up, and it was like 95% to 0, and we didn't even like challenge it, and then we just lost. And I was like, oh, well, can we play something else?
Right.
Yeah, it's quick to get steamrolled in that game. Once you mess up or get stuck behind them, there's no catching back, especially if they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing that I think Bleeding Edge might have going for it. Like people that want to get in on the ground floor and start at like the same play, like start on an equal
Same
playing
learning
field
curve,
to everyone else. Like it might be good if this might be your game. So give it a shot.
And also, like, I hope they do a mode, because what got me into Overwatch is they have, in the arcade mode, they have the random heroes or random squads. And every time you die, you come back as a different hero. So that you can learn all the different heroes' attacks and specials and, all that stuff. So I think that would be very useful in Bleeding Edge if they did one of those things and then incentivize it like Overwatch does with loot boxes. If you play so many rounds of this version, we'll give you a loot box type deal.
Yeah, that's super smart. And then, I mean, nobody's ever butthurt about their main getting taken first or something like that.
Right, yeah, it's just all random. So, and then you learn how to play others than what your main is, and maybe you find something else that you might like. That's how I found Zenyatta. And then I think that's the number one character I have hours in now on Overwatch. So
Zenyatta. That's cool. And I mean, then from Overwatch, we went over to Paladins. I think we played a game.
That was bad.
Got wrecked. And then my baby woke up and
it was like, oh no, a perfect excuse to stop playing.
It's just chaos at my house with 3 kids and my wife trying to control everything. So
yeah, No, it was perfect timing. I went in. I picked up Grover, who I've always used and never had a problem using, and then this double hand cannon man just murdered our whole team.
That and the chick
times.
she has some sort of crossbow that's an auto rifle on her forearm, and it just cuts through everybody on our team.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
So clearly, if you want it, that's what's so tough about those type of games. That they're so hard to just pick up and play, like, for fun. It's the same thing with like Rainbow Siege. Even if you're a good first-person shooter, like, it doesn't matter because there's so much other stuff going on around it that it makes it impossible to be like, hey, you want to play a quick game of Overwatch or Rainbow Six Siege? No, you can't, because you're just gonna get wrecked. You're not gonna have fun. You need to actually sit down, play it for weeks.
Siege is very map knowledge, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
They need to have like
definitely.
a United Nations of gaming and just come up with a shooter controller scheme and just make every shooter have the same controller scheme, because literally you have to, like, playing PUBG earlier this week, it's like, what buttons do what now? Well, this makes no sense at all. I forgot.
Going from like PUBG to Vigor to Blackout, I think it was those three, just playing a ton of them. It's always like, do I need to hit right on my D-pad to throw a grenade? Because like half the games I have to do that, and then the other half you just hit RB like a normal person to throw a grenade.
Exactly. So I think, like I said, they just need to form a United Nations of gaming and just, have the Warsaw Treaty, and just shooters are this controller scheme, racing games are this controller scheme, driving is always this way, flying is always this way.
And then give people the ability to change it from there. Just make the default the same across the board.
Exactly.
Yeah, and B is crouch, not melee.
They'll never do that, though.
No, they won't. Everybody wants to be different.
That's why Gears has that rumble run.
Roadie run.
There you go.
That's the worst thing in games.
Yep. Control it with your right thumbstick like you're a drunk guy coming out of the bar.
Oh, boy.
Yep, and looking up is down and down is up. Makes all the sense.
That's not how you play games.
Yeah,
that's how you fly a helicopter.
That's how you
GTA.
play an Avatar.
Is that it for games this week?
I think, unless anybody has something. We did get a 5-win day in PUBG this weekend. So Chocolate, what up?
Yeah, that was good.
I wasn't there. I think you guys don't win when I play.
The best luck we've had is not having Moose there and then playing 3-man squads without without Shopa being there.
Oh yeah, that was a good night.
That's how we do the best. I don't know what's going on.
That's why you didn't show up anywhere last night, huh?
I said I was sorry this morning. I thought we were over this.
I'm kidding.
Or are we breaking up?
I got to play all that Division DLC, and I had something to talk about.
There you go. Look at it. And good,
it's
a good thing we played Bleeding Edge for an hour this morning. Look how much content we got out of that.
Oh, Bleeding Edge.
But our schedules do not align, so yes, we are breaking up.
Oh, it's going to get worse if you leave.
The distance is killing me.
If you move further west, we're in trouble.
Oh, are you moving further west?
Nah, not right now.
Oh.
Talk about it at a later date if it happens.
It could happen.
Please don't. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to touch on? We good?
I have a lot of things I want to touch on.
Oh, let's keep moving.
Uh-oh. And with that,
let's go to the next one.
We can talk about Game Pass Roulette quick. We are currently doing Fishing Sim World Pro Tour. This game features an authentic career mode where you work your way up to an elite angler, competing against over 100 of the best anglers in the world across bass, carp, predator fishing, whilst unlocking sponsorship opportunities, gaining career earnings, and social media followers as you go. What a game, folks.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
All I've heard so far is that this game is super hard.
Yep.
And very
hone your skills, because I caught me an 8-pound bass, and it took me about 2 hours.
Oh, my God.
Wait, 2 hours to reel it in?
Tell people that.
No, to actually catch a fish and get it to the boat.
Oh, wow. That's even worse than real fishing.
I know, right?
Like, real fishing is fun because you get to eat what you catch. This is just like,
dude. It's all about
something.
jigging patterns and water depth and shade and sun and weather conditions, and you betcha. And we should make it worth a good prize here at the end of the month so that people actually, give it their best, because I'm going out for the W.
Wait, there's a contest?
We're going to have a fishing tournament at the end of the month, I think.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so it'll be the last week of Game Pass. So starting on the 25th, going to the 3rd of March. That's the week we'll do a tournament, and we'll come up with something nice for the
we'll
winner.
Figure out a species and a location, and biggest fish or biggest total catch wins. We haven't decided yet.
Yep. So, and if it's a 2-hour tutorial just to figure out how to get a fish into your boat, you guys might want to hop on it.
Yeah, there's no like hands-on tutorial. It's all videos, and then watch what use what you've learned to try it in the field.
Right.
Now,
and while we're on the topic, go for it.
Do you fish for real? Is it anything like that?
I fish in like lakes and stuff for trout, and I don't know. I use power bait, so is that really fishing? Because it's got stuff in it that the fish farms feed them. So
Sounds like cheating.
I don't know. I fish in Alaska. I haven't tried any of the big fishing yet. I just did a little bit of bass fishing in there, so I couldn't tell you as far as like trying to catch a big tarpon or a salmon
predator
or something.
fish.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's what we should focus our tournament on, is one of those big bad boys.
Yeah.
So you can actually reel in a shark.
Yes, exactly. Catch Jaws and live to tell about it.
While we were talking about Game Pass Roulette, we were going to talk about this in the news, but I'll just bring it up here quick. The DICE Awards happened this past weekend, and our last Game Pass Roulette game, the Untitled Goose Game, which some of you probably laughed at, won Game of the Year at the DICE Awards.
Among other things,
I don't know what that says about the legitimacy of the DICE Awards. But hey, Untitled Goose Game, congratulations.
Oh, God.
Yeah, see, we do pick good games.
Won?
We picked great games.
Yeah.
Did you give it a play, Lewis? Did you even try it?
I mean, I saw it. You were a goose causing mayhem, and if I wanted to do that, I would.
Yes, I'm listening.
Put on a duck outfit and run around.
At this point, can we just call the Untitled Goose Game UGG? It's just so much easier to say.
Goose. UGG.
Yeah, well, UGG actually won 3 awards at the DICE games this year. So
Did
it's
they?
on the Switch. I
That's
almost
crazy.
bought it.
it's a clean sweep. It's on Game Pass, bruh.
Don't buy
Don't
it.
you listen to this podcast?
I mean, it feels like it's more of a Switch game, though.
It does.
It would
doesn't
definitely
it?
be good on the Switch. Yeah.
Yeah. How much is it? $20?
I think it was 20. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But
It'll
for
be on
free.
sale for 10 soon.
Yeah, I wish there was a Game Pass for the Switch.
That would be
might
sweet.
one
I
coming
remember there were talks about that, about
last
being
year,
able to
E3,
play your
right?
Game Pass games on
That would
the
be
Switch
beautiful.
with like xCloud. Like xCloud was going to be able to be played on Switch or something. I think there's
I did
patents
hear
for
something
it.
like that a while back.
It was a long time ago and haven't heard anything about it since. But
Yeah.
man, that would be nice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yes, that's Game Pass, Fishing Sim World Pro Tour. We obviously have a channel for it in Discord. Links for Discord are in the show notes. Discard. With that, let's get into some news. All right, Moose, what's going on in the news this week?
Oh, it's getting close to E3 season, so more and more stories seem to be coming out. You know, it's going to be chock full of news from here to June, I'd say.
Yay!
Let's start out with some Sony news. Our first story is talks about the new Sony in-game monitoring patent. So it's a new smart assistant software that could be embedded in the PlayStation 5 and will monitor and analyze your gameplay, compare it to other players, and potentially provide tips on how to advance in the game. It's not yet been confirmed by Sony as what it'll be used for. The patent has just been filed. It's likely to be able to toggle on and off, so you don't have this, annoying paperclip bothering you and your
Clippy.
yeah, exactly.
Navi from Zelda. Hey.
Kind of a downside is that it could also nudge gamers towards other microtransactions like DLC and similar game types that you've been playing. It could also have a smartphone assistant app to track your content and give you a second screen information type deal. But it also could promote pay-to-win mentality for the new generation of gamers. Having that button right there all the time, just give me 50 cents and I'll get you through this type deal. So what do you guys think about the monitoring patent?
I like the idea of it because it would be nice to be able to like watch your game clips and then have somebody have something that tell you, hey, you could have done this, kind of like.
So yeah, let me explain to you a little bit how it works.
Unless I was mistaken on how you.
Yeah, no. That's it. But basically, it's all analytics. So it takes your gameplay and compares you to other gamers. It uploads all your data against every other gamer's data, and says, okay, so there's a bunch of gamers that did X, Y, and Z in this portion. This is what they did to get this part. So try this part. So they basically bank you in groups of gamers or gamer types and say this was a successful way of beating it. This many times.
Okay, so it's more for a single player type of game than a PvP type of game.
Right. Yeah, I think at this point.
Can you imagine something like that being implemented in Blackout, and you pick up a KN, and it's like, no, pick up the SWAT over there to the right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if it analyzes your play style, it could tell you what guns would be better suited for you.
Or just a red flashing box in the upper right corner that says aimbot, aimbot, aimbot. For $50 a day, you could have an aimbot.
Oh, my God. So, I mean, if this is, I don't know, just play your games, people. If you get stuck, Google it. Don't use this.
Right.
Especially if I think it's only an issue if they monetize it. Like, I don't want to have my PayPal hooked up to a Sony piece of software that is going to give me a hint when I'm stuck.
Yeah, it's like the Nintendo hotline from the 80s.
From way back when, yeah.
Pay $1.99 a minute to beat Zelda Legend of the Past or Link to the Past.
We have the Google. We don't.
Exactly.
Google. Doesn't it kind of just make a service like this irrelevant? Like,
yeah.
It's probably faster and maybe. I don't know.
I guess that depends on how fast you can Google.
I can tell you in the mid-90s, it put my cousin out of business. He used to sell all the Mortal Kombat moves and codes. He'd just print them out and sell them at the arcade, and then everybody got the Google, and it's like, well, I can get that for free now here. So
there's like those strategy guys books, too.
Exactly.
You used to buy those, and now you can just Google it.
Now you just buy them to put on your bookshelf to look cool in your background.
I was gonna say, I feel like I mentioned this like a couple months ago. Probably it's like I can't believe I think it was Prima is the name of them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they're still in business making 200-page game guides.
It's just collectors stuff,
I
would say at this point.
More collectors now.
That's all it is, right? It has to be.
But there's a market for all sorts of weird crap people collect. So
ain't that the truth?
So, but I think that this is kind of a glimpse into the future of gaming, because I know that. Stadia is trying to do something similar to this to assist gamers through games when they get stuck.
Oh, that's still a thing?
But Stadia doesn't work, so we'll see.
Stadia, pretty irrelevant at this point.
So
you could say their Stadia is empty.
Oh, got him.
All right, what's next?
Well, another little PlayStation story. So, PlayStation 5 is having some issues with their pricing. So, basically, the manufacturing costs are around $450 right now due to DRAM and NAND flash memory are pricey due to the competing cell phone industry. Mobile companies are buying up the chips and driving up the price in anticipation of the 5G mobile revolution. So, additional cost increase are caused also by the new quieter cooling system. As everybody knows, the previous fan in the PS4 was a major complaint because it sounded like a aircraft carrier.
It is still a major complaint, and on my desk.
Chewbacca every now and again.
Yeah. So my prediction, I'm just going to put it here, is the PS5 is going to be $500. So
I don't think it can be.
What
much
do you guys
more.
think about that?
It seems reasonable. Well, not reasonable, but.
I mean, reasonable enough. If these machines are doing 4K at least 60 frames per second, like $500 doesn't seem that bad. So,
but to only last for 2 to 3 years, then they have a new one.
Yeah, that is true.
But the technology in the consoles is getting to a point where
how much better can it get?
Right. Well, I mean, visually, you're not going to be able to see much better than 8K. So.
Yeah. I mean, phones are like you said. The phones are buying up those things too.
Right.
Some of some of the Samsung phones, they're up to 8 gigabytes of RAM in them, and they're super fast, and they're more of a gaming phone, the mini console, basically. You know.
Yeah, it's no longer a phone; it's a computer in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I think 500 seems fair. That's what the X came out at.
Okay.
I think these two. I think Microsoft and Sony are really going to be just waiting to see who goes first. Like if somebody prices too high, it's going to be easy to undercut them by $50 or something. But I don't know. I don't know who's going to release first. It's just kind of once you hit $600 for a console,
That's
becomes
crazy.
too much.
Right.
Like
Was that what the PS3 was?
600.
when it. Well, I think when it first came out.
Yeah. It was
And
$599.
that's why 360 destroyed them in that generation. Like it wasn't even close. But yeah, I mean the Xbox One X was 500 when that came out. It felt fair at the time. It could do 4K. It could run a lot of stuff at 4K 60. But
and I think that the new Series X is probably going to be around that same price point.
Well, I think I'm going to hold off on the new console because didn't they say Microsoft's they're going to be no games for their new system right off the bat? Both of them are going to be
not
released for both of them systems.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So,
but
go.
The X is a 4K 60 capable machine, so that's not really handcuffing anything at this point.
Yeah.
But like for me, it just makes it tough as being an X adopter. It's like, do I need a Series X? Like,
not right now. That's in my opinion. We all can wait 2 years, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I could use that money to buy a computer.
Exactly. Yeah, you
That's
literally could build like a decent whole computer rig for $500-$600. So
yeah,
and then
especially
once
if
my
you're
Xbox starts hurting, then upgrade.
right. What you have an X, right? Luke?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm in the same boat where it's kind of like I feel like I can definitely at least either skip this generation or hit it up on a big Black Friday deal at some point.
Yep. The
So is
tail
that
end of it.
putting you closer into the PS5 group because you didn't get the Pro?
Yeah, that's where I've been for I think a month or two now. It's kind of been like I'll get a PS5 if I'm gonna buy these two because my OG PlayStation is. You were talking about the fans earlier. It sounds like a rocket ship. So yeah,
I put a disc into mine the other day and it was like, I thought I was loading up AIM or something. I was like, what's going on?
I think what
great.
my determining factor will be on both of these consoles is what the trade-in value will be
for the old ones.
What I have currently, because I have a Xbox One S and I have an X. So if I could trade those both in and get the Series S or X, for $100 to $150, you know what I mean?
I guess that's definitely true. So all sorts of different factors. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll start with price though. That's what we need to know.
Yep.
Right off the bat.
Exactly.
Price is a big factor.
All right, one more Sony story. We finally found out how much Insomniac games cost. So last week, in a financial, the financial report that Sony showed to their investors, it showed that they spent $229 million last fall for Insomniac games. So they reached the agreement, like I said, last September, but the financial details were not disclosed. This makes that it becomes Sony's 14th internal studio. So, it seems like all these middle tier AA game studios are being gobbled up by the big boys on, who's going where.
Everybody wants the software on their end.
Right. And just to remind you guys, notable games from Insomniac was the most recent Spider-Man, the Ratchet and Clank series, and the Xbox favorite, Sunset Overdrive.
Wasn't Psychonauts one of those games too?
No.
Psychonauts is Xbox.
Oh, okay.
It's Neversoft or...
I'm not going to remember the name
of it.
of
Yeah, I know.
I definitely know. I thought they were Insomnia.
Tim Schafer.
Yeah.
Tim Schafer and Double Fine.
Double Fine. There you go.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that was one of Microsoft's big gets last summer.
Even though some
E3.
of us who've never played those games are like, who?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
what are you talking about?
These are just some weird games.
But they were super stoked, so it's a big deal.
Yep.
I think that's it for Sony news this week. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
Womp womp.
But I got some other news.
Let's hear it.
Somebody forgot to pull the plug on Anthem.
It just won't die, huh?
They just will not go away, dude. So I've got a quote from their GM, EA's GM, Casey Hudson. He says, "We recognize that there's still fundamental work to be done to bring out the full potential of experience, and that will require more substantial reinvention." Wow, sorry, that was a hard word to read. "Than an update or expansion. Over the coming months, we will reinvent the core gameplay loop with clear goals, motivating challenges, and progressions with meaningful rewards, while preserving the fun of flying and fighting in a vast science fantasy setting." So, and then he wrote in a blog post, basically the game needs are more satisfying loot experiences, better long-term progression, and more fulfilling endgame. And this is all coming from, the Reddit where the pissed off gamers hang out.
Yep.
And so he says game fundamentals need a complete overhaul, and they're currently working on just that. Call it Anthem 2.0, if you will. But they're going to currently support the game they have. So they're going to keep that current iteration supported during the overhaul with holiday events. Their, what did they call it? The cataclysms?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep everything the way it is for now, but they're working behind the scenes. Basically, look at it as a proverbial under construction type sign. If you go to Disneyland and they're building a new part of the park, that's basically what they're doing with Anthem right now. And there's really no date or time of when 2.0 is going to be out, but they are focusing on playtesting right now, which they said they didn't have time to do previously. And they're looking forward to their future. So Anthem's not dead.
It's just in recovery.
Right. And this is kind of, they had a little bit of an apology. It says, "Creating new worlds is central to our studio mission, but it's not easy. Sometimes we get it right and sometimes we miss. What keeps us going is the support from players like you. Your feedback gives us guidance on how we can improve. Your passion inspires us with the courage to create. I look forward to working together with your involvement and feedback towards the best possible future for Anthem." So that's got to be only outrage culture that's left giving them feedback, isn't it?
It's got to be. I mean, the game was fun when it first started, and then it just...
Well, it's still fun. There's just nothing to do. Once you max out your character and get all the mods and perks and weapons and, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to blow stuff up, but give me something for it.
The core mechanics are awesome, and then it kind of just stops there.
Exactly.
But, I mean, we've seen this before, like the Division, the first one, like the 1.8 update that brought, like, survival and a bunch of other stuff.
Survival was fun.
Yeah, that brought back a ton of people.
Right.
Year one of Destiny 2 was really rough, and then Forsaken came out, and I know that brought back a ton of people.
Even Destiny 1 and The Taken King.
Yeah, so there's been these updates, these 2.0s, if you will, for other games, and it's worked out for them. I mean, Destiny's super popular right now. Division 2 obviously is putting out expansions that people are getting hyped up for to come back. I just don't know.
Is there room for Anthem still?
Well, it's kind of like when you look at Fallout 76 right now. It's like they keep trying to do stuff. They're putting in human NPCs in their next patch finally, I think. And it's like, are these things enough to bring people back? It's kind of like some of these games get knocked down so far right after launch that there's nothing you can do to bring people back. And I don't know if that's what's going on with Anthem. I would have loved for Anthem to be great. I would love a 2.0. I really do hope it succeeds and it's amazing and it makes me want to play the game again. But as of now, it's like, there's other things I can be doing.
Everything that I was reading is they want it to be more along the lines of the Final Fantasy, is it 14? They had to basically
Realm Reborn
there
or
you
whatever.
Go. They basically just completely remade the game.
They nuked the whole MMO and just started from scratch, and it's like the best MMO that you can play currently.
That's what they want this to be compared to, as opposed to The Taken King or Forsaken or Division 2's Season 2. They want it to be,
that is a high bar they're trying to reach.
Yeah, and that's what they want to be compared to, or that's what they want to be along the same lines as. So I'm interested to see it, but like I said, there's no timelines at this point. So
I'm not even going to think about it until a date comes out and I have something to look forward to.
I mean,
It's
it'd
going to
be like
stay uninstalled on my games ready to be played list.
it'd be like when they were pushing the game out. Oh, next year. Oh, next year.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't. Good luck, Anthem. I hope you succeed.
Yeah, I hope it's because it is a fun game. It's a good game. It just
Yeah,
I want to fly around an Iron Man again.
yeah, no doubt.
definitely.
So, if the game that still is getting support and everybody seems to be loving and playing still, Borderlands 3 has a event going on just till Thursday. So if you want to get involved quick. It's like I said, till the 20th of this month. It's called Broken Hearts Day, and essentially you have the option to turn this on or off at the beginning of when you start your mission or you start your gameplay. So when you first load into the screen, it says, would you like to play this event? And so what you're going to do is there's going to be floating hearts around all the enemies, and you want to shoot those, and some will they're kind of like piñatas, so some will explode and cause kind of like AoE damage, just fire damage. Some will drop loot and guns and stuff like that, and then some will drop buffs. So if you're underneath one and it'll drop a buff, and it'll kind of boost your attack or turn up your damage done, stuff like that. So and then Maurice will keep track of the broken hearts that you collect, and we'll give you awards as to the numbers that you accumulate. Starting with, I think it's 10, you'll get a skin, and it maxes out at 100 with a legendary sniper rifle. So get you some Borderlands if you want to get on that. You've only got a couple days to do it, though.
All right, I already beat that game, so
Yeah, exactly. I know Chaotic put it on there, so I figured I'd throw him a bone.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
All right, Division 2 announced their new expansion. It's called Warlords of New York. So it's going to continue on their final expansion of Season 1, which they went back to Coney Island. And the new max level will be 40. There'll be a map expansion of Lower Manhattan. There'll be 4 name zones. Fog of War, where you can explore to identify map points and interest of activities. There's a wide range of open activities as well as new secrets and collectibles to find. There's an open-ended campaign. There's enemies that now scale to your level, and you can explore Lower Manhattan without any level restrictions, so you're not locked out of any areas, not being high enough level. There's also 5 distinct investigation threads, each linking the main and side missions, so 5 different kind of stories that tie everything together. So there's 5 main missions, 8 side missions. The main missions and side missions, like I said, are all tied together. There's improved boss fight mechanics as well as unique skilled mod rewards. So it looks like quite a bit of content for the price of $30.
So we're going back to New York.
Back to New York, that's right.
that's.
And
I wonder. So this will all be completely new areas then. None of this should be reused from the first game, I would assume.
I'm not sure, to be honest with that. I don't know if they're adding on to the original game, but they got to redo everything anyway. So I would assume it's all new maps, but it may be similar areas. You know what I mean?
I wish they did mid Manhattan with Central Park and everything. That'd be cool
Right.
to go through.
That was kind of weird. What didn't people get in, like, break through the northern part of the map and get into part of, like, Central Park or something? Maybe I'm dreaming that. I feel like somebody got into a big open, like, green area going through the top of that map at some point, but then nothing ever came of it. But yeah, that would have been cool for sure.
Give it a little foresty in there.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It would have just been a completely different vibe from the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this game dropped mid to end of March last year.
Yeah, it was definitely March.
So that's when I assume that this year 2 stuff will drop. It's probably about the same anniversary time.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
So I'm sure, they'll be leaking or trickling out more information as it gets closer. All right. Got some bad news for all you Jeff Keighley fans out there, if there are any of those. So I know
Jeff
it seems
who?
like the guys, Jeff, yeah, exactly. Jeff with a G.
Off.
G off. So it seems like he's everywhere in gaming, but one place he's not going to be this year is E3 Coliseum. So he tweeted out a quote last week that says, Oh, sorry, guys. For the past 25 years, I've attended every electronic entertainment expo. Covering, hosting, and sharing E3 has been a highlight of my year, not to mention a defining part of my career. I've debated on what to say about E3 2020. While I want to support the developers who support the developers who will showcase their work, I also need to be open and honest with you, the fans, about precisely what to expect from me. I have made the difficult decision to decline to produce E3 Coliseum. For the first time in 25 years, I will not be participating in E3. I look forward to supporting the industry in other ways at other events in the future. So, just another big name or big title off the E3 list.
It's weird because he's been doing this for so long, and the Coliseum, if you're not familiar, was just like the hardcore like interviews with developers, right?
Right. Yeah, it was just kind of like it was almost like the epicenter of everything that was going on at E3, and that's where they had everybody up there to talk about games and do the Let's Plays and the demos and things like that. So I wonder if it's about money or if I'm sure it's about money.
It's also weird because he said that he wasn't going or whatever and wasn't going to do this, but then he responded to someone on Twitter who asked why, and he said it was based on what has been communicated to him about the show, that he doesn't feel comfortable participating.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like, that was super cryptic. What are you talking about? So I'm wondering if we're going to see something weird or not super consumer friendly maybe at this year's E3. It's I don't know.
Was it E3 was the one where they had you had to buy all your tickets and everything, not knowing what panels and what things were going on, so you didn't know if you were going to actually see the people that you wanted to or not?
I remember that. I don't remember if that was E3 though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
that's what's
yeah. So I don't know. I E3 is, like you said in some messages that we've had on Discord, is kind of like a bucket list thing, but I just hope it's still a thing when I actually have time and money to go do it.
If you've never been to a PAX, dude, you should just make it up to like PAX in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's meant for us
users, right?
Just like normal gamers, that all you're doing is playing games, talking to developers about their games, and just playing games. It's like, if I was going to go to one of these, I would take a PAX over an E3 any day, from what I know of E3 at least.
Right. So yeah, no Jeff Keighley. I wonder, didn't he just host the DICE Awards and the other game awards? And
he does his own game awards, yeah.
Right. So, oh well, Jeff's not going to be there.
R.I.P.
They'll find somebody else that looks nice to sit up there and talk about games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not too hard, I would assume.
Right.
I'll do it.
There you go. Perfect.
Time's up, so hopefully it's a lady. Am I right, guys?
Boom.
Most likely will be.
On to the next story. Chocolate's excited about that. Well, I don't know how excited, but xCloud is out for the iOS. A little bit, kind of, in a super limited games list to one game. It's Master Chief Chronicle or Master Chief Collection. That's it. That's all you get.
How many games can we play on xCloud? Oh, just one.
Well, I guess it's 5, but it's all Halo.
Oh, yeah. Okay, technically. it's one game file we're opening, though.
Right. And I don't even think they get Reach or anything like that. They just get the
core Halos.
Exactly.
That's so weird. I wonder why. They just want to start it. I also was not in xCloud from the very beginning, so I don't know. No, I guess when I first signed on, there was like 5 games or something. It was like Gears, Sea of Thieves.
It was really limited.
It was super limited, but now there's like 50 something.
Plus, you can stream to your Xbox anything.
Yeah, if you're on the same Wi-Fi, you can just stream from Xbox, which is sweet. Well, hey, good for the Apple users out there that they can give it a shot and play through Halo.
That's got to be just a Microsoft Apple thing, right? Just I'm sticking it to you because you're Apple.
I have no idea. It's weird. It seems weird. Like at least it should have had the same 5 or 6 games that Android started with right off the bat, just because I don't know. I feel like you're not going to get a ton of feedback from putting xCloud on iOS when Master Chief is your only game. Like, if people don't want to play Halo, they're not even going to touch this thing on Apple. So I don't know.
Exactly.
And then back in the day, that was the reason to have Xbox, though, was Halo.
I want to say
true.
they released it to, or they signed a deal with Samsung last week too, but there were no restrictions or anything.
Yeah, so I don't. Who knows? You might be very right about it's just a
Just stick it to Apple.
Hey,
a who's
take this,
who
Apple.
thing. Yeah.
So yeah,
Makes
Enjoy
sense.
Halo chocolate.
yeah.
Yay.
Enjoy your Halo bear. But next up is Disney is asking for all sorts of creative minds to give them some input. So, as we all know, they have a long list of failures in the gaming industry as far as their IP goes. So, they want to create more games along the lines of Spider-Man and Jedi Fallen Order, since those are now part of their, under their belt. So, and they're willing to lend out their IP to creative developers to create their own stories, like they did with Insomniac, like they did with EA, and it only took them, a decade to get a decent Star Wars game out of them.
Yeah.
I guess Battlefront 2 is a really good game now, isn't it? It just
Yeah,
It's
after a
fun.
couple years of being
3
out.
years, right? That's just how those games go. Dice games in general, Battlefield, Battlefront. Yeah, you just wait 2 years and buy it for $5, and it'll be an excellent title for you. So, but yeah, Disney is willing to basically open up the coffers in the vault again and lend out their IP to see what creative people can do and create their own stories and create their own universe. So it's exciting news.
Yeah, all they needed was Battlefront to have the most ridiculous microtransactions they've ever seen for them to be like,
Right.
oh, this is what they're doing with our video games? So, yeah, if you're going to make games based off of Disney's IP, I would prefer you make them like Spider-Man and Fallen Order, because those have been two of my favorite games in the last 10 years. So,
Fallen Order was amazing.
yeah,
And that's basically the gold standard of the bar that they're setting for everybody. So
that's
it
so
basically says, come one, come all, show me what you got, but this is what we're looking for.
awesome. Yeah, nothing jam-packed with microtransactions and
Good old microtransaction.
good old Michael.
Lou's friend. So we got some sad news for all us Xbox lovers in the next story, unfortunately. So you guys didn't even know about this. Well, I guess Lou did, but I broke the news to you today, Risky. But came out last week that Final Fantasy VII is going to be a timed exclusive to PlayStation until March 3rd, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole year, kids.
That is
Planned
way
on
too
playing
long.
this. Yeah, wasn't it coming out on Switch or PC also? Or both?
It might come out on PC. I don't think
Okay,
Switch
PC.
don't touch this
Switch
game.
would be able
Yeah,
to do it.
but no Xbox, no PC until March of 2021.
Yeah,
So,
if I
You
buy
can have a
this
kid and it'll be almost out of diapers by that point.
yikes! If I buy this game, it'll be like my 4th time buying Final Fantasy VII.
Right?
Yeah,
That's funny.
I've never played it, so I will be playing it on drop day on my PlayStation.
I said this is going to be a pretty amazing way to experience that whole story, because going back to it is kind of tough. The story's still there, but looking at it is just rough
It's
on the
just-
eyes.
Oh,
Is
you don't
that
like
original?
their square horse hands?
Dude, it's so weird because this game came out right in the awkward stage between like 3D graphics and 2D graphics. So it's like
Yeah.
as they were just starting to learn, and it's some of just the most ugly. Like, oh, what am I looking at?
And then, yeah, another one of the determining factors for me is it went from turn-based to an action RPG. So I like to button mash.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's kind of more like a more of a timed cooldown with some of the attacks, but I
Right.
think it's just going to be like Final Fantasy.
Well, yeah, it looked like
15.
you could pause and augment things.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of a mix of the two.
Right. You could pause the action and kind of change your characters or whatever.
Kind of like
need
what
to
you
do.
were talking about earlier, Lou.
with Divinity. I mean,
With
Pillars of
Pillars.
Eternity.
Pillars. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that a year. Yikes,
That's
that is a
crazy,
long
isn't it?
time.
Yeah. When we
Might have
thought
to bite
that,
the bullet and just get it on a PlayStation.
I will be. So
yeah, but when we all thought that, exclusives were going away and everybody was starting to share and, we just want our titles on anything that we can get it on, except for Final Fantasy. Buy a PlayStation.
I mean, at
Or
least they're doing a timed one, and it's not exclusive.
Well, a
What's
year is
worse,
pretty
though?
much
I don't know.
exclusive. That's like the Call of Duty crap where it's a year out. Nobody's going to
Yeah,
be playing
you-
that crap a year later.
Yeah.
can't play the Spec Ops missions for a year
Yeah.
when no one will be playing them in a year.
Yeah, but maybe after a year you won't be paying that full $59 price tag once it's released.
Well, it's different with Call of Duty because that was a mode within the game. So I bought the game and then just don't get to play a whole section of it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So I guess they're
you
two
pay the
different
same
examples.
price as the PlayStation guys, but they get more content.
Yeah.
But we'll get it eventually. Don't worry.
When nobody cares.
Time to dust off the old PlayStation. I have to wear headphones when I play my PlayStation because of how loud it is. Like that's, I can't play it with just normal speakers. It just ruins everything.
And the other thing is the speakers and the controller always scare the crap out of me.
Oh, you forget they're there.
It's just like, wait, what? Why is my hand reloading? Or you know what I mean?
That's the first time that I was playing MLB The Show, and it was like, "Hey, batter," and it came like out of my thing. It's like, what is this? Throw it across the room.
Yeah, you're getting chirped at from your controller.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
I don't need that.
So, and we got let's see, a couple more stories left. So, did you guys check out the Outriders trailer that dropped last week?
I
Yes,
did.
sir.
So, this game looks pretty awesome, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It looks very Anthem-y mixed with Division.
Right, Anthem, Division, Mass
Destiny
Effect, all
feel
those.
to it.
Yeah.
With the 3 different type of people.
So this is going to be Bulletstorm developers' take on the Destiny style shooter.
Okay.
I think it's going to be out this fall.
Holiday 2020.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be console release type deal.
Yep.
And it's going to be on multiple platforms, right?
Yeah.
That I didn't see. That's what I was gonna ask. I didn't.
At least
catch the
Xbox and
console.
PlayStation. I would assume
Right.
PC as well. So
Yep. So yeah, it says PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One.
Oh, very nice.
So it'll also probably be on all the next gen consoles as well. But yeah, it looks like an epic space story with magic and guns and powers.
I just hope it's not another Anthem. You just wait for it and then flop.
I hope there's actually
Dude,
something
Anthem's trailer that they showed at E3 in 2015 or 2016, just that set the bar for that game so high.
I remember I was watching, I would think I was at Dan Pod's house watching E3 that year, and I remember him, this is something he said. He said, well, have fun with Destiny. This is what I'll be playing next year. It was something like that, and I was
And
like,
then 2 years
yeah,
later, when
okay.
it dropped, that's where the garbage monster was invented. I'm pretty sure Dan was there every single hour you were. So
nom, 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 nom. Consume all the content. I got my money's worth out of it.
Oh yeah, we
for
all
sure.
did. We all got at least 50, 60 hours into that game, and then we're just like, now what do we do?
Yeah. So
But that's just like your single player epic. I literally went through a withdrawal or a postpartum depression after I finished The Witcher. I just couldn't think of anything to play.
just what do I play now?
Yeah, nothing's gonna fill that hole. So
I'm so lost. The
Void.
did you catch any of the gameplay they did for this?
yes, it looks.
They did
pretty
that
cool.
whole thing. They're so the 3 classes, they had the pyromancer who looks like he just kind of wields fire, which is fun. The trickster
And the Devastator.
and the devastator. Yeah, the
Yeah.
trickster is dope. He, at least the one move that I saw that really stuck with me was he puts up like a time bubble. So as people are shooting at you, when bullets enter the time bubble, they slow down completely, so you can like dodge bullets and stuff. Just being able to manipulate time like that, or he like creates a portal and ends up behind people, like teleports behind them and can kill them that way.
Dude, you
Some of
said
his
it
moves look dope.
perfectly. It says he's a close range class with time manipulation abilities that allow hit and run attacks. It's exactly how you described it.
Yep.
Yeah, he looked awesome. Like he just reminds me of like a hunter, like from Destiny, like that type of class.
Right. And then your Devastator is your tank, DPS,
Sounds
and
it.
just take the brunt of it.
Pyromancer's like your warlock or your mage class.
Yeah, I was
Exactly.
gonna say he sounded like the storm caller from Anthem or
Yeah.
Warlock and
So, it
Destiny.
looks-
That's your class, Lou.
They seem to be
hey.
checking all the boxes as long as they have a story and lore and loot. As long as the looting is good, I think that just should be a good game.
Yeah, the trailers they're doing. I'm just with these type of games. The big question is always going to be, what am I doing after my first 100 hours?
Right after I level max.
Right. What happens in the next? What happens in hour 200, hour 300?
What's the end game?
I need something. Yeah, you need to know what the end game is, and if it's not, up to snuff, then that's when you see all the drop off. So fingers crossed for this one because it does look cool.
Yes, sir. And that brings us to our last story today.
Oh boy, it's a sad one.
Yep. RIP HQ trivia. So it's dead. Let's see. A CNN report Friday said that HQ co-founder and CEO Russ Yusupov sent a company-wide email stating that the company would immediately cease operations and move to dissolution because the investors were backing out. And then he later that day tweeted out and said, "With HQ, we showed the world the future of TV. We don't get to where we hoped. We didn't get to where we hoped. We did stretch the world's imagination for what's possible with our smartphones. Thanks to everyone who helped build this, and thanks for playing." And there's no idea of how to withdraw current winnings if you already have it. So hopefully you can leave that stuff in the bank.
I remember playing. I would ping people.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever was playing, I would ping everybody at 6 o'clock. It played, I think, 6 or 7.
1 o'clock and 6 o'clock, or 1 and 7 my time, I think.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think it was 3 and 9, so I was still at work, and I would just ping everyone. It'd be like, all right, let's see who can go the farthest. And if you're not familiar with trivia or HQ trivia,
12 rounds or 15 rounds? Or was it 10?
I think it was 10. It was like they'd give you 10 trivia questions that got harder and harder. You had 10 seconds to input them on your phone, and if you got it right, you go on to the next round. And whoever got to the very end, the winners of that would switch whatever the pot was that day. And this wasn't a paid app. It wasn't anything. I was always like, how are these people making money? It was the creators of Vine, right? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's just ad sales and,
So they just had money to throw away, but
invest. They were trying to make it big, like the next Twitter, they tried to make it to where it could be something that was
something
Facebook
huge.
Level or Google level. Yeah,
and it was huge. Like my parents played it every night. It was just something they would do when it was out.
I think one of their backers had a domestic violence something come up right around the whole Me Too stuff that was going on. Or sexual.
No.
So that kind of, I know there was a big boycott, Trivia HQ, right around the same time. So,
but the one thing I'll always remember in my favorite memories from that stupid trivia app was the host, Scott Rogowski. It was just being the punniest dude that you've ever seen. Like the one-liners he would throw out were so funny for this dumb live trivia. That was the thing. The whole thing's live. Like this dude is sitting in front of a camera live on a trivia app on your phone. You have 10 seconds to answer it was awesome. It's I haven't played it in a year or so.
Yeah, he did it with such good dry humor too. Like you could tell he wasn't the writer and he was just reading it off a teleprompter, and he just look at the producer behind the camera and just be like, seriously, you want me to say this?
Do I have to say this?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, it was, he had a good run, but, you're no lottery. Sorry, Trivia HQ.
Gave away too much money.
And I think after never getting past, question 7 probably made me stop playing eventually. I was like, I'm just too dumb.
Right?
It would be funny because, like I said, we would play it at work, so there'd be 5 of us in a room, and when we'd get stumped, and we were all like, okay, we'd all made it to 5, question 6, and none of us had any idea. It's like, all right, you take A, I'll take B, you take C, and then, one person will go on to the next round, and we'll try to help each other out. Yeah, that was fun.
So, and that, my friends, is the news for this week. So.
Ooh, boy. Pretty newsy.
Moving on.
Pretty newsy. Yeah, that was a decent amount of news. We do have a couple games coming out this week. Kingdom Hearts DLC Prologue is coming out to Xbox on the 18th. That's this Tuesday, or today if you're listening, the day the show comes out. Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition is coming to the Switch on the 20th. We also have Sega Ages Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Nintendo Switch, also coming out on the 20th. Your games with gold, which started up this past weekend, are going to be Call of Cthulhu and the OG Star Wars Battlefront. That's good until the 29th. The one before that is good until the 15th of March. So plenty of time for Call of Cthulhu, which I thought actually looked interesting, to say the least.
Nope.
No, not for you.
Not going to do it. Yep.
Call of Cthulhu, isn't that a turn-based game?
Or am I thinking of something else? I thought that was a detective third person.
Yeah, it's a scary, dark shadows and bad stuff happens.
Very story-driven, pick your own, left
Yep.
or right type deal.
We also have games coming to Game Pass this month. We have Bayonetta on the 18th, the day the podcast comes out, alongside of Vanquish. So those will both be there. Leaving at the end of this month, though, Batman Return to Arkham, Just Cause 4, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I feel like Rise of the Tomb Raider actually just left.
I know I just uninstalled it from my Xbox.
The end of the month they did, so I don't think that's I know
Okay,
Return to Arkham is leaving.
Yeah, so these are either gone or leaving soon. But Rise of the Tomb Raider and then Snake Pass is the last one. Snake Pass is a fun little puzzle game if you're just looking for something small and fun to play.
And I want to say that these Bayonetta and Vanquish games are remasters coming out for the 10th anniversary.
It wouldn't surprise me if this Bayonetta one is the one that was just came out
On
for Switch.
Nintendo,
Yeah,
right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. So
But they just had a bunch of Bayonettas on the Switch released.
right. So if you're gonna play, or if you ever wanted to try out, like I've never played a Bayonetta game,
Dude, it is crazy.
it just isn't her hair like her
Her clothes, and she has guns in her feet.
guns
and
all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah, and then she does her
Guns,
super, and she whips her hair back and forth like Willow Smith.
I whip my
And-
hair back and forth.
But you don't see anything because everything's moving too fast.
Yeah.
Her hair destroys stuff.
Very
But-
hairy
too fun.
woman.
I got to a part where there's like a dragon. It almost looks like Contra, and you've got to run from side to side and like avoid different attacks and then attack him. And I've not been able to beat that part yet. So.
That's funny. So yeah, if you want to play Bayonetta, this is probably the best way to do it. Then this is going to be the most current version. So
Freest
Hop
way
on
to
it.
do it.
and the freest. Yes.
And Vanquish is a similar game, correct?
I actually don't know what Vanquish is.
I think it's a shooter version of Bayonetta.
Just kind of like
Don't
running,
quote me on that.
running gunny.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, wait. Bayonetta's not a shooting game with guns attached to her feet?
I would call
that's like
Bayonetta
hack
more
and
of a
slash.
hack and slash that
Okay.
uses guns.
Gotcha.
Hack and slash with a side of shooty.
Correct.
Side of shooty.
Sorry.
You just your blades are bullets. There you go.
Perfect. All right. Hey, we did it, folks. We made it through another podcast.
Oh,
Good work,
boy.
everybody.
Woot.
Made it through.
Everybody
And
on top of their game. All right, let's plug this thing up. Make sure to head on over to Apple Podcasts, rate us, give us the 5 stars if that's what you want to do. Obviously,
You give the
everything-
5-star right now, and Mother Russia will find you.
Oh boy.
Exactly, and you're gonna listen to that. So
I
5
know I
stars,
would.
please,
Threats always work well.
or the Russian man is gonna find you. If you want to keep up with us on the daily, you can head on over to Discord. Links for the Discord are in the show notes. That's where we all kind of just hang out, chat about whatever every day. So head over there. If you'd like to support the show with your hard-earned money, head on over to patreon.com/CAG podcast. Over there we have Chocolate's Ramblings. That's one thing that comes out on a pretty frequent basis. It's short little audio clips of all the weird stuff that goes on in Chocolate's head.
Oh, boy.
That probably is not safe for this podcast. So
Not
head
safe
on
for
over there.
minors.
Yeah, exactly.
We're adults for that
Or,
matter.
yeah, or adults. Don't play it in the car with your friends or your family. Test it out by yourself first.
That'd be a
Another
good
way
thing
you
to
can
listen to on the way to therapy.
Yeah, they're perfect. There you go. Well, Chocolate said, no, we're not going to do that. Another way to support the show is through our merch shop, which is through Spreadshirt. Links for that are in the show notes as well. Get yourself a hoodie, a snapback, all that fun stuff. If you'd like to keep up with us on socials, on Twitter and Instagram, we're at CAG Podcast. And if you need to reach out via email for anything, cagpodcast@gmail.com. I'm Risky the Kid everywhere. If you want to reach out to me, Moose
Moosenstein 8314, all places.
and WaterLou. If the people want to game with you or whatever, where can they find you?
WaterLou. WaterLou on Xbox and
WaterLou at Waterloo.
on PlayStation if I'm ever on there.
What was your phone number again, Lou?
Oh yeah, please.
911. Just
Okay,
make
cool.
sure to ask for Lieutenant Lewis.
Good luck, everybody.
Right. Unless you're in UK, and then it's 999, I think.
Oh, is it 99?
Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
only we had a British man on the show to tell us next week. It'll be the first thing we talk about. All right. Well, hey, Lou, thanks for being on the show. We'll have to do this again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Good to have
Thanks
you, buddy.
for having me as a guest host.
Appreciate your impressions and your opinions. Yeah.
Impressions and opinions. That's what he does best.
Everyone has opinions, and I do impressions.
Perfect. And thank you, dear listener, for tuning into this week's episode of Cross Atlantic Gaming. We'll catch you guys next week for an all-new episode. Goodbye.
See ya.
Toodles.
So for me, it's the month of the knock knock jokes. So, knock knock.
Who is there?
No bell.
No bell who?
No bell. That's why I knocked.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be a Nobel Peace Prize joke or something.
Nope.
Missed it by a mile.
All right, I got another one.
Oh,
Knock
he's got
knock.
another one.
Who's there?
Luke.
Luke who?
Luke through the peephole and find out.
Oh. Wait, we got to do dad jokes, right?
Yeah.
Moose
Any
was
jokes.
doing Yo Mama jokes last month.
Yeah, I
What
just
about-
change it every month.
Just not rated R jokes, Lou. That's what we're looking for.
What do you call a Mexican who lost his car?
Oh God.
I'm not sure.
Carlos.
Carlos. Oh, that'll be up to my discretion during
God.
editing.
Yeah.
Why
Racist
didn't the
jokes are
TP
kind of
cross the
frowned
road?
upon. Why did what?
Why didn't the TP cross the road?
Why?
It got stuck in the crack.
All right. Toilet paper
Toilet
joke. I
paper
like it.
joke. I get it. I thought that was going to be a racist Indian joke, so much better than I thought we were going there, Lou.
Why was the color green notoriously single?
Why?
Why?
It was always so jaded.
Oh.
Oh, that's sad.
The color jade, it's green. Whatever.